Guys, happy Friday to everyone. Oh boy. No boxing on tonight, but I'm really looking forward to Golden Boy's fight card tomorrow night in Chi-Town, Illinois. And guys, we have a lot to discuss. Oh boy. And such is boxing. Oh, we've got a lot to talk about, guys. So we'll be here for a couple of hours, guys. We're going to talk about Romero. We're going to talk about Virgil Ortiz. We're going to talk about Richardson Hitchens. Oh boy, all this and much, much more on the latest edition of WaraWeek Boxing Chats.
W.A.W presents Big Time Boxing USA on WaraWeek Radio.
Guys, welcome. Happy Friday to all of you guys. And I tell you what, we have a lot to talk about, guys. And I don't even know where to begin. So we're going to begin with this. And I can't say this is a terrible fan take, because part of it is not, right? And you know what? I hold on. Jesus, Sam, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, my friend. And he says, Manny Pacquiao versus Rollies upcoming soon. Garbage payday for both. From what I was told, Manny Pacquiao got 7 million rock for that farce of an event with Mario Barrios. And I was also told that, it did around 120,000 purchases. That's it. So there you guys go. There you go. About 120,000. That's it. Which is better than most for Turkey Al Sheikh. Gosh, guys, I really don't know where to begin. But we're going to start with this, guys. Let's do this. And once again, this is not a terrible fan take because, well, the first part is, but the second part of it is right on the money. And it's surprisingly a naive take from someone who hasn't been in the boxing business for a very long time. And it's always those guys who haven't been in the boxing business for a minute, but they think they know how this is run. And with the amount of success this gentleman is having at this time, I can understand why he would feel emboldened to say stupid crap like this, right? And so he stated this the other day, and this was on July 26th when he said this. And this was after the news that Dana White was trying to amend the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act covenant, right, for the fighters. Once again, to protect the fighters. Now he says this, and we're going to pick this apart. It's Nikisa Bedarian from Jake Paul MVP Promotions, right? He says this, and he's been in the sport for about 2 minutes. And he says this: the belief that the Ali Act has protected boxers is misguided. The UFC is a better organization than any, including MVP for fighters. Wrong. Well, I'm going to read this again, guys, because I can't believe he stated this. The belief that the Ali Act has protected boxers is misguided. The UFC is a better organization than any, including MVP for fighters. That's shocking, actually, for someone who's actually in this business to say something that ridiculous. And then once again, it's someone who wasn't in the business before 2000. So he doesn't remember how promoters religiously just reamed and took advantage of prize fighters, right? And we're going to talk about what's wrong with everything. And we're not going to spend nearly as much time as we did the last time we went live. We went for an entire hour talking about this. We're only going to spend the first 15, 20 minutes, and then we're going to go to boxing, the fights, the matchups, all that stuff, right? But when you go back to that time, the reason why the promoters just could drill and take advantage of these unsuspecting and trusting hearts that, boy, used to leave everything in the ring back in the day. It's because the promoters, they didn't have to open the books and disclose everything that they made, right? They didn't have to. And so back in the day, yeah, promoters would gouge the fighters, including Bob Arum. Now he's like, well, you know what? We get 20% and the fighters collectively get 80%. Yeah, no thanks to you, brother. Because back in the day, you used to do the same thing. Not nearly as bad as Don King, but, you know, everyone used to do this because they could. So once again, why does anyone do anything? Well, because they can. And now promoters, guys like this Nikisa Badarian, who've been in the business for 2 minutes, assumes that this is the way it's always been, that it's always been a practice where you open the books and show the fighters exactly what everyone's making so that they realize they're not getting smoked. No, it never was like that before 2000. Thanks to Senator John McCain championing this legislation. So if he thinks that the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act has protected or hasn't protected boxers, then he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Then there's no reason to go any further after this. But we're going to anyway. He says, yes, UFC could pay the fighters a lot more. Okay. Yes, you're right about that. Give them health care and pensions easily, but chooses profits. But who in boxing is doing this? No one. Yeah, that's right. We're not ripping off the fighters. That's why. Once again, guys, it's just like Apple selling out putting their factories in China, putting their factories in Taiwan, putting them in India because of cheap labor. I have no idea. Did he do a clapback this Thursday? Hey, brother, if you can put the link of the clapback Thursday, we'll watch it together. So if you can find it, Jesus, and put the link in the comment section, I'd really appreciate that. I'd really like to see what he has to say about it. Because De La Hoya may be a lot of things, but that's the reason why he started Golden Boy Promotions in the early 2000s. Because he's a fighter and he wanted to protect the fighters, paying them fair market value. Well, if it's look, Jesus, if it's something on X, yeah, post it on the comment section, and we'll play it. Okay, I'm genuinely interested now. So once again, guys, let's look at this, and this is the whole reason why Dana White, and once again, we're the only platform to reveal this. Why he was insistent on calling his stand-up fighters strikers and not boxers. because on average, he pays them collectively between 18 and 23%. That's been proven statistically. That's been proven, guys. Whereas boxing is hurting, and in a lot of events, pays them 100%. But on average, it's about 80%, guys. Higher than any other major pastime. Every other major pastime is between 70 and 75% collectively. They pay to the players. And why? Because they have players' unions. We don't have a fighters' union. So we needed that legislation so that the fighters and the managers could actually request, hey, what's in your books? How much was made? So we know we're not getting ripped off. And without it, yeah, you're going to see another UFC where guys are fighting for drips and drabs. But once again, fighters have gone a little too far. And, it's that's what's stirring all of this. Because fighters have been receiving inflated purses and they become emboldened. Like, let's take a look at Richardson Hitchens, who recently said, yeah, man, I am. That's my best business move, to be a free agent. Wrong. Free agency only works when you're a ticket seller. Now, there have been anomalies as of late, like Devin Haney, who's never been a ticket seller, never will be. He's not a very likable character. And he doesn't fight in an overtly fan-pleasing style. But he has been, because of what he possessed, the undisputed championship at 35, and then a mere trinket at 40. And because of his fights opposite Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, well, he's done very well for himself and received way more than his realistic market value. Now, Richardson Hitchens, I don't know what he's thinking. He thinks he's going to be another Devin Haney. He's going to win the lottery. Brother, he's going to find this out the hard way. Free agency only works if you're a ticket seller. What happened when Manny Pacquiao was a free agent? He didn't resign with Top Rank. He went to PBC. He made a killing. But that only works if you're a free agent or if you're a ticket seller. Free agency is a very, very lonely place to be if you're not a ticket seller. And Richardson Hitchens is going to find that out the hard way. Ask Lamont Peterson long time ago. After beating Amir Khan, he didn't resign with Golden Boy. And what happened? There was a purse bid for his first defense, and I think the winning bid was only $50,000. And that's exactly what's going to happen with Richardson Hitchens. They're going to demand his first title defense because the IBF don't play, right? And so without a major promoter behind him, who's going to pay to see him fight? He's going to find out the hard way. It's going to go to purse bid, and no one's going to bid on it. A la Devin Haney, Sandor Martin. And what is he going to say? Oh, Eddie, that's nasty work. Dude, you left. You left, brother. So once again, fighters aren't helping their cause any. They need to learn how to shut up and be thankful for what they're getting. Not act like a bunch of entitled, spoiled babies. Because that's what they're acting like now. Oh, man, I deserve that bag. I risked my health and I risked... Dude, you signed up for this. Now, this is how out of hand it's become. Where, do you remember, guys, just 10 years ago, when someone fought Floyd Mayweather Jr., what did the fans call it? The Floyd Mayweather sweepstakes. And it was going to result in life-changing money, a career-high payday. Do you know how much on average that was he used to pay his opponents? I do. It was on average $3 million. Now you've got a bunch of dorks and a bunch of entitled babies like Richardson Hitchens, who believes he deserves that much just for a mere title defense. Is he going to get it without the major promoter and network behind him? Best of luck to you, brother. These guys have to be taught a lesson, but not at the expense of everybody. Because not every fighter acts this way. It's only the entitled babies in the American market, it seems. And hold on. Now we're going to pull up a truly terrible fan take, guys. And I need to find this real quick. And this was sent to me by our dear friend, G Funky Boxing, right? It's pretty funny. And it's that. Oh, wait a minute. Don't tell me he removed it because it was terrible. I think he has. Yeah, he removed it. It was that racist dude from the Boxing Rant. What was his name? Kenny at Boxing Rant on X. Now, he said this. Has a boxing journalist ever written a story about how modern black culture in America has ruined boxing? Oh, geez. Hold on, Jose. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Joseph, pay-per-view is over. My job in boxing is done. No, it hasn't. It's because you're still going to steal every fight and you're not going to subscribe. You cheap bastard. Good to see you, my friend. I say that in jest. Once again, guys, before we move forward any further, I do have to remind everybody that this show is always brought to you by our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you, Jesus, your alone source for eternal salvation. And we're going to move forward in just after this minute intermission.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Did you know Jesus invites you to find true rest? In Matthew 11, number 28-30, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Imagine letting go of life's heavy burdens. Jesus offers that rest, freeing us from worry and stress. He also invites us to learn from him. Jesus shows us how to live fully, with purpose and joy. And we don't do this alone. We come to him as a community, supporting each other. Feeling more confident? You should. Trust that Jesus will help you with your challenges. By accepting his yoke, we let him guide our steps. Finally, share this spiritual knowledge. Help others find the peace and purpose you've discovered with Jesus. Ready to embrace this journey? Take his hand and find rest.
Amen. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my other channel, God's Perfect Love, and join me on my spiritual journey with the Lord and Savior of this world, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Heavenly Father. And yeah, so moving on now to back to boxing, guys. Hey, Major Key, good to see you, my friend. He said, let's give a moment of silence for Coach Tommy Brooks. Yes, sir. The great conversations with him and other people like Mike McCallum. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Tommy Brooks was an excellent boxing lifer, and he was most, I guess, world renowned for being a trainer for our dear friend Evander Holyfield. And so, yeah, he was a boxing lifer. He was always very easy to get a word with. Whenever you wanted a quote, whenever you wanted some of his time, he was always very generous in giving it to you. Always, if you were a newbie, wanted to get in this business, or wanted a young fighter in the amateurs. He was always very generous with his time, always showing you things, teaching you things, talking about everything. And he will be sorely missed. He was one of the good guys in boxing. So God bless you. Yes, 25 world champions under his tutelage. Yes. So he will be sorely missed. And once again, it almost seems to be happening way too frequently, where we're seeing them just less and less. All of the old masters great teachers of this fight game. And we're not seeing enough being replaced. We see a bunch of mitt work specialists, but no real teachers of the craft. And so it will be sorely missed. God bless you, Tommy. May the Lord have mercy on your soul. And guys, with that said, it's my pleasure to introduce to the stage at this time my brother Neverfold Sports. Good to see you, my brother. Happy Friday to you, man.
Yo, what's good with you, Joseph? What's the word, man?
Well, I tell you what, we have a lot to discuss. I just finished. Well, no, I haven't finished actually. We are talking about. Well, I don't want to spend too much time on it because we spent almost an hour on it last time. But there are a lot of people, and it's surprising. I'm finding a lot of people in this business siding with Dana White in amending the Muhammad Ali boxing.
Hello? Yo, Joseph, are you talking?
Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. I lost you for a second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Very good. I'll tell you what, Major Key, thanks for pointing it out, brother, and reminding me of the passing of the great Tommy Brooks. Thank you, my friend. I wouldn't expect anything less from you, my brother. Hold on. Okay. Now, look, Jose, he says, Joseph, what's the future of boxing? Can you elaborate? I don't know, really. I mean, you're talking about, are you asking me what's the future of boxing in the American market? I'm not sure that we have one, to be honest.
He has to give context, though, you know? Gotta ask a deeper question, like a specific question.
Now, once again, if you're talking about, look, I'll say this, I will say this, and this is a great certainty, right? If Canelo and Crawford surpasses my dismal expectation, and it really sizzles, and it's a lot of action from start to finish, which I would bet my house that there isn't going to be. But if it does deliver on the big stage of Netflix, then that will be the shot in the arm that revives this sport in the American market. And I would almost guarantee it. People would be talking about it, but we need something to really sizzle and create a lot of drama. And
Your mic went out again, Joseph. I don't know if you can hear me, Joseph, but your mic went out because I can't hear you. And also in the chat, have you guys stopped hearing or any problems with the stream?
sorry about that. Guys, at this time, we're going to welcome to the stage Major Key Boxing. Major Key, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, man.
Hey, same here, brother. I'll let the brother finish talking, and then I just want to make one quick comment and then bounce back off.
Yes, sir. The floor is yours.
Oh, I thought my brother was still speaking. Are you still speaking, or I didn't want to interrupt?
No, go ahead.
No, we're good. Go ahead, man. The floor is yours, my friend. But thank you for being so courteous to my brother Neverfold, man. It's kind of you.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Well, so my comment just really had to do with the Netflix deal. I honestly believe. Look, I was never really mad at Jake Paul. I know people are mad at him, but I thought he was a really great dude for the women's boxing. And I know he wasn't never a real deal boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like I took him serious as a boxing challenger, but he took the promotion. He took the energy that was coming from the random crowds that don't usually watch boxing, and he used it for the women. So I thought he was doing a great job with it. Same thing. I think that Netflix is probably the most perfect platform for
Yep,
boxing because I'm looking.
absolutely. Oh shoot, I'm
This is
sorry, man.
probably the best thing that ever happened to boxing if they moved to Netflix. So Turkey Al Sheikh is a very fucking intelligent.
Absolutely, but your fights have to sizzle. Now
That's true too.
we all saw what happened after what was the backlash like on the following Monday when everyone went back to work. What was it like after Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, the main event? And the
Oh
undercard was
well, I
great.
mean, yeah. No,
Well,
but we know why that is, though. I mean, let's I mean, you don't have to explain it to me. If there's somebody in the section right now that doesn't understand that, they should be understanding
no,
it if they're on this platform.
I'm not worried about as to why. We all know why, because that fight
Mhm.
should have never happened. But
Right.
what was the result of it being a lame duck on the
Well,
big
that's what I'm
stage?
saying. Yeah, it was just look. It was. I understand that it was a lame fight. I never bought it in my mind or my
Yeah,
soul or my heart.
of
Right.
course.
And so what I'm saying is that with the other the female boxers on the undercards, like the Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody that came on those cards. That is something that nobody has ever done for the female boxers, and I appreciate him for doing that. You
Well,
know.
and yeah, I appreciate it because it delivered. That
Right, it
product
did,
delivered. It was
and it's free,
Toto. It was all action, and everyone was talking about it.
and it was
As a
free, and it
result, it
opened the door for
was
Netflix, my brother
great.
Joseph.
Great.
It
Yes,
it
yes, sir.
opened the door.
Well, here's man, how do I explain this without sounding
Sound like yourself, brother, because
um
all I'm saying is that I think he's great for that, and I think that the female boxing was also great. So if unless you disagree with that, you
no
should not feel
no
like
no
you
no
shouldn't,
no
like,
no
what I mean.
no
Come full force, man. I'm not because no, I do get that sense sometimes when I talk to people that they feel like I might get aggressive, but I'm not like that, bro. Like,
no
I'm
no
literally
hey
not like that.
brother, you know what, once again,
Yeah, you understand?
I love discussing everything.
Thank you,
um
thank you. I just
and this
want you to understand that I'm not going to
yeah
try to get like
and this
that.
is no debate. Once again, I don't like debates because all you're doing is trying to prove that you're right and you're not listening to the other
Right,
person involved.
exactly.
Okay,
You got
I
to
love discussions, right?
listen to understand, not to disagree.
That's it. Yeah, well, very well said. And so I don't. How do I say this? I'm trying to be as nice as possible, but guys, there was an ulterior motive for signing all of these female fighters and putting them all on one card, and it wasn't to make history. It's because it's cheap labor. For the same reason why Eddie Hearn has been signing undersized fighters, because
Your mic went out again, Joseph.
It's because it was blasphemy. I'm just
dude,
joking.
I'm serious, man. It
No, I was
always
just joking, man.
delivers.
I was just joking, man. Hey, you were off the mic, man. I got an advantage here.
No, dude. Go ahead. Chime in, my friend.
No. He said your mic went out, and I was just joking about it. Like that we're good.
Oh,
You
my
go ahead,
mic went
continue.
out. My
Yeah,
mic
your
Yeah,
went
mic
out.
went out for
I'm
like
sorry.
10 seconds or something. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try it again. Okay.
All
So
right.
there was an ulterior motive for Jake Paul in signing all of these female fighters, right? It's because it's much cheaper labor. That's why. And because they're in this business to make money. And let's face it, most fighters in the American market have become like Richards and Hitchens, guys who couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night, but want to bounce and try the free agency market and demand absurd amounts of money even though they're not big ticket sellers or big attractions. So Jake Paul went the economical route and signed a bunch of women underneath him. And it proved to be a very, very smart move because these women throw down. They're fearless. And it's a product that seems to always deliver. And that's why I was really I'm like deliberating. I'm like, do I really want to say the truth? Because, it's a product that's seemingly good for boxing.
I'm not mad at you either way because it's just your opinion. But I honestly, if you want to know my opinion, I think that he's good for boxing only in that sense, because he's actually producing money for these for these female boxers, and not only that, but just for like he made that deal with how many people did that before Netflix? Like with Turkey, like who did that before?
Nobody. And it's funny. I told the guys from Sella, and I told my brother Thomas Driver, and I said, look, in order to save boxing in the American market, you're going to have to put it on a subscriber-based platform like Netflix. If you leave it on DAZN, no one's going to watch it. No one subscribes to DAZN. And I'm talking about the guys who move the needle, mainstream and casual fans.
Uh-huh.
But when you put it in front of people, Netflix, look at their subscriber base, over 180 million worldwide.
Solid.
It's absurd. Everybody has Netflix, it seems.
It's solid, bro. That's what I'm saying. That was a smart move. That's solid. It's solid.
Yep. And but once again, boxing, it almost seems, and I brought this up, and Neverfold can attest to this, and I think you were here last time in the chat. But boxing almost seems to be cursed because if you're going to put it on this platform, and once again, they're promoting it, not like they did Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This is a real fight. Two legends of the game, two pound for pound guys, and you couldn't have picked a worse style matchup. This is going to resemble watching paint dry. And Don Chargan told me this, and I said this on the last show.
Well, hold on, brother. Which fight are you talking about? Just so I can make sure I maintain my brain on what you're saying.
September 13th, Crawford versus
Canelo. Got you. Okay, I'm following. I just want to make sure that we were on the same page.
And Daisy Sanchez, thank you for joining us. I've got the numbers, and I announced them when we first went on. I'll announce them in a second as well, and we'll talk all about what's next for Manny Pacquiao, because that has to do with the main topic. Rolly Romero gets the upgrade at 47. I wonder why that happened. Okay,
it's a whole different story. I'm not here that late tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to get to that next, guys. But understand this, and through no fault of Jake Paul, again, he's become somewhat of a pioneer of women's boxing. If you appreciate women's boxing, and look, I'll be honest, I appreciate the hell out of them lately, because they're the product that religiously delivers all action from start to finish.
1000%.
But make no mistake about it, I know why they signed him, because I'm in this business. He signed all of those women because, one, he could promote it saying, hey, we're going to make history. And two, they are so much more reasonably priced to pay per round than the men are at this time. And so he made a very, very smart, shrewd business move. And it seems to be really paying off. But going back to Turki Al-Sheikh's dilemma on September 13th. Now
well, hold on. Before you move on, I just want to say, but it was a great move because you know what I'm saying? Like that, those three fights are legendary with those, hey, listen, whatever you say, Taylor and Serrano, legendary female fighters. That's it. And I'll move on.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure that point stands out, but I agree with you with everything else you said.
Yeah. Look, I'm not taking anything away from those two legends.
I know you're not. Yeah.
And
I just want to highlight it.
Let's go back to Turki Al-Sheikh's dilemma. Now, let me ask you something. Major Key Boxing, you know what you're looking at. So do you, Neverfold. Why on earth on this stage would you pit two very careful counterpunchers by trade against each other on this stage? Why would you do that? and they're selling the fight. Oh, this is going to be a real fight. This is a once in a lifetime, once in a generation type matchup. Oh my goodness. Guys, this is going to stink to high heaven in terms of action. Now, for us who we know what we're looking at, we're going to be very intrigued at the style matchup. And wait a minute. Well, how is Crawford going to win this fight? Well, he's going to try to implement an intelligent jab that always offsets the timing and rhythm of Canelo Alvarez, and it has historically, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And especially now that it's pretty obvious that Canelo has lost a step and he cannot pull the trigger like he used to. And so he's got a legitimate fighting chance, but is that going to result in action? Enough action to appease the mainstream and casual fans? Let's just be honest, Major Key, if there's no knockout on September 13th, boy, the natives will be restless, I think. That's my opinion. What say you, my friend?
Okay, so you pose a great question because I am so intrigued by this fight, my brother. I don't know if you remember, the only time I've ever had an issue with WaraWeek report, right, is when there was a lot of drama going on because your guy, Errol Spence versus Crawford, right? That's the only ever issue I've had with you. I've liked you as a person. Somebody is great at the way you break down the everything that you do. Everything that you do, the editing, you know what I'm saying? Everything you do is great.
Thank you, my friend.
Only thing that I ever had an issue with you was when you didn't realize that Terence Crawford was a better boxer than Errol Spence, and I saw that.
No. I've always look. I remember that. No.
Yeah, but I remember because it was you, and not only you. I have also with my guy, what's his name, with the gold teeth over there, and in Texas. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Young Bill, my brother, Young Bill.
No, not him either. What's the guy's name, man? Fuck, man. He said, he goes so he's had his biggest channel was had 1 million followers on Facebook.
And he's,
you know what I'm talking about? Huh?
And he has a goatee.
No, I didn't say gold. He had gold teeth, not gold teeth. Gold teeth.
Gold teeth. I don't remember, but I will say this. I would never, ever accuse Errol Spence Jr. of being a better fighter and a better boxer and a higher ring IQ than Terence Crawford. What I said was I'm picking Errol Spence to win just from looking at Terence Crawford's history. I was going to get started too late and not be able to finish the job in 12 rounds. And I said it was going to be a very unpopular decision, a la Devin Haney.
So I think our friend out there probably, because it was on his channel. So I think our friend out there, and I'll send you the name. You know who he is? My guy, man. Everybody knows him, man. He said, "Say."
Are you talking about IOTBA?
Yes, him. My guy right there, man. You know what I'm saying? He loves me and hates me at the same time, man. I love the guy. He hates me and loves me at the same time. Nevertheless, we were on his channel, and that's what I'm talking about. These guys, they deserve their flowers right now because, at the end of the day, look, Terence Crawford did beat Errol Spence, but a lot of people thought that was impossible. And I was like, no, Terence Crawford has a better game than and I understand Errol Spence, but he's smarter, yeah. So that's the whole thing. So right now, the whole thing that has me on the fence right now with this fight, this is all going back to your first question, which is Canelo Crawford, exactly. So with Canelo Crawford, listen. I know Canelo's nice, man. I know he's not gonna get knocked out by Crawford. I can tell you that. He's got a fucking beard like a fucking dude, like a buffalo, bro. He's not gonna get knocked out, but
he's never even hit the canvas. Yeah.
Never. He's not gonna get knocked out by Crawford. So that's interesting. Nevertheless, he has been beaten by people that are more technically sound than him. And Crawford is like that. So that's what throws me to the fence right now with this fight, because I feel like if anybody gets them off their game plan, it's for either one to take. So I'm not the betting type for this fight. because he's moving up, he's not acclimated, but then nevertheless he's still a more bigger person naturally, and he's more skilled. Like, you know, there's too many variables in this fight for me to actually tell somebody, hey, this is a guaranteed fight for this for this person. You know what I'm saying? It's just not possible for me.
Well, look, I can tell you this, because, and this is a good time to plug our next event. I'm not going to be doing commentary for the next event, August 16th at the Chime Auditorium in San Antonio. I'm going to be doing ring announcing for the first time in about a year. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, guys. It's in
congratulations, brother.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, brother. And I'm really looking forward to it. And we're going to be featuring undefeated prospects who are signed with Luis Tecubas, David Cardenas, as well as Ricky Pretty Boy Nunez. Yeah, it's big ticket sellers in San Antonio. So I'm really looking forward to calling this event. At least
are you going in with bow ties or regular ties?
I'm sorry?
As a ring announcer, are you going in with bow ties or regular ties?
I'm not going to be wearing a bow tie, man. I'm going to be doing the 70s.
Right, thank you. I appreciate you in advance.
I like the no collar, man. I like looking the.
There you go, man. I appreciate you in advance.
The 70s ring announcer look, man. I dig that. But look, Dominic, hey brother, I'll see you August 16th. Yeah, I'm going to be ring announcing for that event. And look, I'm not worried about the winner. Once again, I've been in this business for a very long time, and I don't care who wins, but I need it to be entertaining. For the health of the sport, I don't care who wins, it had better sizzle. Because once again, Don Chargan taught me, and that's why we're called WaraWeek Boxing, after my mentor, Don WaraWeek Chargan. And he told me before the Pacquiao Mayweather event, you know, Joseph, everyone's talking about this fight. Well, it had better sizzle, or else that's not going to end well for the health of the sport. He was right then, and I'm going to say that same thing about September 13th. I don't care who wins, but everyone is talking about it. And because it's on such a big platform, it had better sizzle, or it won't be good for the health of the sport in the American market. And that's all I'm saying. As far as who wins, if I had to put money on something, you cannot bet against Terrence Crawford. And once again, thank you for bringing that up about Errol Spence. He made a believer out of me, even though I knew he was a badass. I've covered his entire career since he was a young guy who couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night with Top Rank. And I used to feature him on my Blog Talk radio show back in the day, the Pugilist Corner, when we were on East Side Boxing. And I've always believed in his abilities. He's a badass switch hitter and impossible to train for. How do you prepare for someone like that?
1,000% agreed.
And so I'm not worried about that. If I had to put my money on it, I would have to bet in favor of Terrence Crawford. But that's not the dilemma. Is this going to produce enough fireworks and action to appease the huge mainstream and casual audience that's going to be watching?
I'll counter that. I'm sorry. No, you know what? My brother, who's been waiting for a minute? Like, there's somebody else on the panel with us. Yo, brother, if you want to talk, I don't want to interrupt you, but I got a quick answer for that. But you know what I'm saying? I don't want to interrupt. Like, I've been kind of like, ever since I came in, kind of like talking, but.
No. Hey, the more the merrier. Never full. Do you have anything to add to that, sir?
Yeah, no. I think just can you clarify the question one more time, just to clarify, to make sure I'm answering every single point.
It's not a question. I just voiced my opinion, and that's. Oh no, well, wait a minute. Yes, it was a question.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Is this matchup gonna produce enough fireworks, drama, and
for Netflix
on the big stage?
Yes.
And to appease the large, massive mainstream and casual audience that's going to be tuning in.
So I did understand you correctly. And then, so with that, I'm going to say yes, with a grand fucking applause behind it. Yes. This is a breath of fresh air, man. You know what? We've been looking for that. That's what these platforms have been trying to do. PBC was trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? ESPN was trying to do it. DAZN tried to do it. You know what I'm saying? But they all ended up asking for pay-per-view prices. So if this is free, the boxing fans will love it. And then it's on a great streaming platform. You know what I'm saying? So if they're already making their money in different areas that they can reallocate just to support this sport, yeah, man, I love it.
Let's just hope, guys, it delivers in terms of action. Once again,
That's true too.
there is no debating whether or not this is a good move for everyone involved. Yes, it is. But we need to hope that it delivers in terms of action on fight night, that both fighters leave it in the ring and really take some risks. Because I don't want to see a stalemate. I don't want to see Charlo versus Canelo. I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to see a stalemate on the big stage because, look, like I said, we pointed to the women. What do we get religiously when we see two badasses like Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor in the ring?
Yeah.
We see nonstop action, guys.
Absolutely. And we love it.
That's what mainstream and casual fans look for.
And that's why I keep coming to your channel. You know that, right, brother? That's why I keep coming to your channel, because here's the thing. Even though we've had disagreements, the thing is, I actually like what you talk about, man. You come actually with a perspective. Even if people disagree with you, you will still have that engagement. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of boxing channels can't do that, man. And so I've left the platform for a couple of years, but I still am only subscribed to a few channels, and you're one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that, brother.
So yeah, man.
I will say this though, man. We can hope for the best, and we still don't have any word. And it's approaching now, 8 weeks away. We still don't have any word. Yeah. No, 7 weeks away. We still don't have any word.
Because we're already on the 1st of August. Yeah, so 7 now. If
we
that.
Still don't have any word.
5 more. It's more like 5 now.
Yeah,
5, 6.
We still don't have any word on who's going to be featured in the co-main event. And let me tell you, it had better be a barn burner. It had better be all action. I almost wish that they had saved Amanda Taylor or Serrano Taylor 3 for the co-main event of September 13th.
That's clever.
But unfortunately, it's a different promoter. Jake Paul is not, he's not too friendly with Turki Al-Sheikh at this time. Once again, Jake Paul, who did he want to actually fight this year? And then Turki Al-Sheikh he just moved in and made Canelo an offer he couldn't refuse. Yeah.
You don't like Jake Paul, do you? You don't like Jake Paul. I'm getting that vibe. You don't like Jake Paul.
No. I love Jake Paul. I think he's amazing for the sport. No. I love Jake Paul. In fact, I give him a lot more credit than most people. But I'm just saying, Jake Paul is not friendly with Turki Al-Sheikh, and this is just an unbiased observation. And once again, he wanted to fight Canelo, and Canelo had signed an agreement. And what did Turki Al-Sheikh do? He snuck in, and he paid exorbitant amounts of money for 4 fights with Canelo and made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And so he backed out. And so we should be seeing on Netflix Jake Paul versus Canelo September 13th instead, which in my opinion, I can't say that I'd be thrilled, but in terms of delivering, I think it has a much better chance of delivering more action.
Now, if you give me Paul versus Canelo, give me Paul versus Canelo, bro, I'm not watching. I'm mad.
Really?
I am. I'm mad if that happens. And you know what I'm saying? Like and this is why I come onto these channels, because again, I only watch a few channels, but I have not I dropped my channel like a couple of years ago, and I only trust a few channels. I'm being honest with you. I mean, it's only because I know you guys know people that I know, plus more people than what I knew. You know what I'm saying? So I know you guys are legit, you know what I'm saying, like you and certain people. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, this is the first I'm hearing about that, man. That sucks.
Well, I'll say this, and Charles brings something up, and we're going to move to this, right? Because we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see what happens on September 13th. But am I hopeful that the fight delivers in terms of action? Yes, I am. Always hopeful, or else I wouldn't be in this business. But am I optimistic? Absolutely not. I think it's going to resemble watching paint dry. But I hope I'm disappointed. I mean, I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. I hope
so too, man. Yeah.
Oh, he says this. Charles, greetings, gentlemen. What do you think of the upcoming rumored fight between David Morrell and Callum Smith? I have news, guys. And once again, it hasn't been confirmed, but there is a rumor that David Morrell Jr. is going to be leaving my brother, Coach Ronnie Shields.
Mm.
And I'm going to say this right here and now. If he is, yeah, then he's, and from what I've been told, he's blaming his last two performances, which didn't really resemble or reflect his genuine potential and his athletic gifts in the ring. But that's not my brother, Coach Ronnie Shields' fault, who has some of the best sparring in his gym in the entire world in Houston, Texas. But Morrell seems to be, and this is the killer with fighters. They pay a lot of money to have experienced boxing lifers give them sage career and business advice in boxing. And who do they always listen to? The guys who wouldn't know diddly about the sport. They wouldn't know the difference between a left hook and a fish hook.
Right.
And so that's who's whispering in Morrell's ear at this time. Oh, man, look, you didn't look the same, man. And that's Ronnie Shields' fault and blah, blah. And I guarantee it that's the case. And this is something as old as boxing itself. The hanger-ons, the entourage, the friends and family. We have called them for a very long time urban advisors who don't know nothing about the business, don't know anything about boxing.
The Fat Joes, the terror squads to Edgar Berlanga. I know exactly what you're saying.
Oh boy, yeah, you do. And brother, and I hate to say this, but he's not the first fighter that listens to the wrong people, and he won't be the last.
Right, I know.
But it's rumored that he's going to be leaving Ronnie Shields, and he's making a huge mistake. I can say this though. Ronnie, and I was asked, he said, dude, do you think Ronnie's worried about this? I said, hell no. He has been through way too much to worry about this. And honestly, I'll tell you where it's falling apart for Dave Morrell Jr. And since I'm among friends, I'll tell all of you guys. Because he's got $1 million athletic gifts and a 10-cent head. He is a big kid. And he loves
Hold on. You said $1 million what? And a tense what?
He's got $1 million abilities, but a 10-cent head.
Okay, got you.
And unfortunately, he likes to party.
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, no, it got muffled when you were saying it earlier. So, but I got you now.
That's his problem. And right now, if he's blaming this on someone who's forgotten more about boxing than he will ever learn, then yeah, this is proof positive that he's got a 10-cent head. Yeah. He needs to live that Spartan lifestyle like Terrence Crawford. Like, here's the difference, right? Now, and this speaks volumes. Do you remember Usyk after his victory over Daniel Dubois? Someone in the press said, hey, how do you stay motivated for fights like this? How do you stay motivated? Oh, wait a minute. Dominic says this. Oh, Israel Salas will straighten Morrell out. Yeah, just like he did Joe Joyce, right? Stop it. It's not the trainer. In this case, it's the fighter, because Ronnie Shields is as good as it gets in boxing. He's been through it all, and just look at his resume and his track record.
Facts. And again, shout out to Tommy Brooks, because he also did that, and rest in peace. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yep. And so the fact that he's blaming his last two performances on a trainer, speaks volumes of where his head's at this time, because real winners don't point the finger at anyone else but the man they look at in the mirror every time they wake up in the morning.
Facts.
Okay, so now let's just take the opposite end of the spectrum, a real winner like Alexander Usyk. Now, when asked by a member of the media, hey, how do you get up for these assignments? You've got nothing left to prove. You're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're an all-time great. You've cleaned out the elite of the heavyweight division currently. How do you get up for these assignments and put forth these performances like this? You seem to be getting better. And Alexander Usyk says motivation. Motivation. He said, no. Motivation comes and goes. If you wait for motivation to do anything, you're never going to get anything done. He said, I have discipline. And with discipline, you don't need motivation.
There you go.
Gym and getting the most of yourself. That's something that David Morrell needs to learn. Now, once again, this dude, he's got no respect. Dominic says, time to get off Shields' nuts. Shields' time has passed. Really? Well, why don't you wait and see what he does with Josh Edwards out of Houston, Texas, the next great heavyweight champion from America? Okay? Now, once again, at least Ronnie Shields has some nuts to get off, which is more than I could say for most fighters in the American market these days.
I would say this. Look, Usyk, I knew he was a great fighter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was actually one of the people that didn't know if he had the skill to beat somebody that was physically dominant over him like a Tyson Fury. But when he proved that to me, I have no quarrels at all with fucking Usyk. Usyk, because I could tell with the craziness in his eyes. You could tell. I've said that many times before. You could tell with people's in their eyes. You look in their eyes and you could tell. Usyk has crazy eyes. He's a crazy dude. He's ready to fucking fight. He's crazy. And not crazy in the sense that he's stupid. No, he's a warrior. He is ready to fight. And that you get those looks from certain people. You got it from Mike Tyson. You get it from certain people. I got it from Usyk a long time ago. And I said, and when he was not that great against Witherspoon. Oh, look how he didn't look. I'm like, guys, man, give him credit, bro. He's getting acclimated, man. He's just trying to move up to the weight class. Leave the guy alone. Once he gets acclimated, he's gonna be good. What happened? He dominated. He had to get acclimated. That's all.
Yeah. Look, I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. And I think maybe a different way of putting this: Usyk has character. He has character, loads of it. David Morrell Jr. is still finding his as a very young man. Keep in mind, David Morrell Jr. is only 26, and unfortunately, he's listening to the wrong people. And if you think Ismail Salas is going to, now once again, you can't take anything away from Ismail Salas. He's one of the most knowledgeable trainers in all of boxing. But once again, you can only lead a horse to the trough. Okay, guys, once again, just like the great Emmanuel Stewart just stated, a trainer is only as strong as the thoroughbreds that he jockeys.
That's true.
A trainer is only as strong as the thoroughbreds that he jockeys. Guys, how's Freddie Roach's stable looking right now? Once again, if you want quality sparring, Ismail Salas, that tiny gym, boy, you're going to get it. You're going to get loads of it. Robert Garcia, his gym. Boy, tons of great sparring for lower divisions.
Well, yeah, Ismail Salas. I know Ismail Salas is legit too. Just like I know a lot of people know about Robert Garcia, but a lot of people don't really know about Ismail Salas. Ismail Salas, man, is legit, man. You know what I'm saying? Great boxing that you're gonna get. Yeah.
He's one of the smartest trainers in boxing, and you can't take that away from him. But so is Ronnie. Yeah. So is James Gogi. So is Abel Sanchez. So is Joe Goosen. There are a lot of great. So is Barry Hunter. No one talks about Barry, but he is as knowledgeable as it gets. So is Bozy Ennis. So what are we talking about here? Once again, there are a lot of guys who could do the job, but once again, is the fighter going to listen? Is he going to live that Spartan lifestyle that's going to yield the best results?
Yes, an excellent question.
That's the issue here, guys. Understand, David Morrell Jr. may be the most naturally athletically gifted fighter in boxing today. But is he going to make the most of his potential? Is he going to make the most of his potential? That's up to him. If he lived that life like Duran Boots Ennis, you would see much more positive results from him. But Duran Boots Ennis is a guy who lives that life. Terrence Crawford is a guy who's 24/7, a Spartan. He doesn't drink, doesn't mess around. He's all business. And he is a disciplined soldier, just like Alexander Usyk.
Facts. Yeah, I'm gonna fall back and let you run your show, my brother. Pleasure joining the chat. Thanks for having me up. You guys have a great weekend.
God bless you, my friend. Pleasure's been all
Yes,
mine.
sir.
Thank you, Major Key.
Same here.
Well, I tell you what, that was Major Key Boxing, guys. Always very interesting and a joy to listen to. And yeah, man, it's I hope to have him back very, very soon. But I tell you what, man. Hold on. Did he want information or was he just jumping ship? I'll be awesome. Sorry, I was reading the text. My apologies. I'll be honest. It's because he's listening to the wrong people who are in his ear. That's it. Because everyone just looking at him, everyone knows his potential. Hold on. Morrell is making the right move. Well, time will tell. Because once again, if he is blaming the trainer, then that's not good. If he's blaming the trainer for his lackluster result in the last two fights, that's not the case. I've been to his last two camps. And he has had quality sparring, quality instruction, but he hasn't listened to the game plan. And I know this for a fact. So I don't know what you're basing this off of, Dominic. And once again, what are you basing this off of? Yeah. Once again, dude, you know what? I'm going to drop the link tonight. Prove me wrong. Come on and talk about this. Click the link and come on and talk about it. Okay? Because I'm not going to go back and forth with you on the chat. Because it's nothing but nonsense and noise. And I'm going to ask you if you do click the link. Right? If you do click the link. I'm sorry, who is this? Sev? Who is this? Is this Lance? Is that you, Lance? Who is this?
No. What's up, man? This is Sev. I've been on your show like probably the last time it was like 2.5 years ago. We were talking about Rolly Romero versus Gervonta Davis. I was trying to convince everybody that it was going to be an intriguing fight, and sure enough, it was. Yeah, I just wanted to come on here and talk some boxing. My channel is Combat Sports Media.
Oh, Combat Sports Media. I remember you, man.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
I'm
Long
going to
time
take
no
the
talk,
camera
brother.
off for a second, all right? But I'm still on.
Go ahead, my friend. That's good of you, man, to show your face though, man. So I knew you were a real person. Thank you, brother.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
but
wanted
yeah,
to talk.
let's-
I wanted to talk about the Top Rank not getting renewed by ESPN for a little bit.
Yeah, man. Let hold on. Let Morrell be a grown-up. Stop bash. Dude, shut your mouth, Dominic. I'm not bashing anyone. Once again, I have high hopes for David Morrell. But if he's blaming his trainer on his last two performances, yeah, he needs to. And you know what, Daisy Sanchez, I would say that that's the case, but that's not the case. Because he has several people who were there with Ronnie, who work with Ronnie at the gym, who are translating for him. Keep in mind, Ronnie Shields has an excellent relationship with Luis de Cubas, and he always has Cuban fighters in the gym, right? And so Ronnie, that language barrier, but that's a very good point, though. I'm glad you brought that up to address that. But going to Top Rank, now, Bob Arum has already stated, well, we're maybe interested in the big events on Netflix because they're only interested in airing maybe 4 or 5 events per year, but we're looking at a couple of streaming platforms that we can't say anything as of next. Yeah.
You know, Top Rank was always treated by an unwanted, like an unwanted stepchild by ESPN for all those years, in my opinion, because I remember even one time There was like a women's softball game that was.
Yep. I know exactly what you're referring to, and I brought that up on last week's show. I said they're still showing NCAA women's softball, and they gave the axe to boxing. Yeah, not good. And most people don't realize this, guys. Like Terrence Crawford claimed that he wasn't being promoted properly. I'm like, well, dude, why didn't you invest in yourself? Because Top Rank, ESPN didn't pay for any of those promotions. And once again, HBO and Showtime never did either. That was always from the promoter or the fighter. Floyd Mayweather paid for all of those all-access specials. 86.5, I thought it was 93. But nonetheless, that's still a lot of money per diem, or per year rather, per annum. But here's the problem. That budget wasn't just for the fighters. That was for all of the promotion as well. The little blood, sweat, and tears featurettes. Yeah, it was actually to do that. It was actually to pay for that. You know, Dominic,
why were the cards starting at 12 o'clock at night?
Dominic, I'm going to put you in timeout. You're an idiot, dude. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Seb. The floor's yours, man.
The cards were always starting at 12 to 1 o'clock at night.
Oh, I hated
East
that.
Coast
Yeah.
time. And one time they even had a softball game going on, and it wasn't done yet, and they decided to leave it on instead of starting up the boxing broadcast like they were supposed to. They always treated boxing like a stepchild they never wanted. I even sometimes wonder why they even made that deal with Top Rank. It was obviously because somebody at Top Rank probably was friendly with someone at ESPN, and they got the deal. But aside from that, nobody at ESPN actually wanted them. And because you could tell just by the way they were treating them.
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good point. And you could also make that assessment pointing to whenever it's college football season and a boxing event is on Saturday. Like, they'll show that college football game in its entirety, even if it's a blowout, and make boxing start well after midnight. Guys, at this time, I would like to acknowledge my brother, Lance Meyer. Good to see you, man, all the way from St. Paul, Minnesota. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Joseph?
How you doing, brother? What's on your mind, Lance?
I'm doing just fine. I just wanted to come up and support the show, tell you I like what y'all are doing over here, and you're always spitting some good boxing talk.
Thank you, my friend. God bless you, brother. Let me get your opinion real quick. Are you looking forward to, because it looks like Gervonta Davis may not be available. And so that means with the news that Rolly Romero gets the upgrade at 147, it looks like Rolly Romero may be defending his title against Manny Pacquiao later this year. What are your thoughts?
I am incredibly indifferent about that.
Yeah,
I hope they charge me $80.
Oh, geez. Well, it's probably going to be 90. Yeah. So, look, once again, they don't have Canelo anymore. Gervonta may be going to the Huzgau. And so what do they have? Guys, understand this. That's the reason why Gilberto Mendoza Jr. just upgraded. So either he's going to be featured. Like, honestly, if I'm the management of Rolly Romero, I'm gonna say, look, I know we're negotiating currently with Ryan Garcia. I'm gonna tell him to sit his ass down and wait his turn, because I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity, and I'm gonna defend my title against Manny Pacquiao. There's only one opportunity to fight this legend before he officially retires, and I want to be the one who knocks him out and sends him into retirement. And so if I'm Rolly Romero's manager, I'm saying, hey, Ryan, sorry, but you're going to have to wait. We can fight, and I'll give you a rematch next year, because there's always time to fight Ryan. But you're only going to get this opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao now. So that's why I think it's happening next.
I agree, because to be honest with you, Ryan has done nothing to warrant a rematch. And so unless if he gets back in the ring with somebody else and puts on a good performance, there's no reason for the fans to even want to see it.
Yeah, you know what, man? And it's hard to argue with that logic. Once again, here's the problem, though. He who makes the gold makes the rules. He who has the gold makes the rules. And Ryan Garcia is one of the few ticket sellers in and around that division. Even in loss, he still brings a huge crowd to the dance.
Not more than Pacquiao.
That's debatable. But look, nonetheless, they're both big ticket sellers. But Ryan Garcia, yeah, he can wait. He's still a young man. Dude, I'm sorry, but Manny Pacquiao is very, very close to being alive for over half a century. So you've got to strike now or you're never going to get this opportunity ever again. And I can tell you this, even though Rolly doesn't know how to fight, I can't believe he's become a 2-division world champion. Holy cow, this guy who cannot, and once again, I like Rolly. I had the opportunity to call a fight with him. He was doing commentary with me, and he's such a nice, humble kid. I really like him. He was always very respectful to me, and I really like him. I hope he does well in whatever he does, but to be honest, guys, he cannot fight. He cannot fight.
Well, I'll push back a little bit on that. I'll put it to you this way. He may not be the most polished fighter, but he's a dangerous fighter.
Yeah, can punch. That's right. That's true. Even though he sounds like a female tennis player when he punches.
Mm-hmm. And Joseph, let's keep it real. The most important thing that you need for professional boxing, aside from like IQ and all that mental stuff, is physical strength and power. This ain't the amateurs.
Look, I mean, in professional boxing, yes, torque matters. Power,
and he's got it.
Yes,
he's got it.
Yep, but if you can't deliver the package, it doesn't make any difference. But look, he was fighting a one-dimensional fighter in Ryan Garcia. So, hey, you know what? I give him a lot of credit. Most people didn't think he could do it, including me. Yep, Ryan going into that fight was a 10-1 betting favorite.
Yep.
But look, man, I don't know what's left for Top Rank. I don't know what's in Top Rank's future. In my opinion, their strength in numbers, what they should do is merge with Al Heyman and PBC and Pro Box. I don't know what's going on with the Pro Box and PBC announcement. I don't know what's going on with that. Last I heard, they were going to merge, and I haven't heard anything. I heard it was going to be announced in a couple of months. I'm still waiting. And guys, some of the brass at top or at PBC, I asked, hey, what's the status of that? They couldn't comment.
Pro Box still has cards coming out, though, right?
Huh?
Pro Box still has cards on the docket, right?
As far as I know, yes. Hold on real quick. There is a comment I wanted to talk about. And hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, well, I'm just going to, because I can't find her comment, I'm just going to post this one. Daisy Sanchez, welcome to the show. And she asked initially, I can't find the comment, but do you know the numbers for Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios? Yes. It's just below 120,000 purchases. Just below 120,000 purchases. So it's not great, but it's not terrible like Devin Haney versus Ruru Prograis, right? Bitch, by the way,
hey, Joe, I want to ask you something. I heard a rumor on one of the podcasts I was listening to earlier today. Jamel Herring was on. I believe it's Leave It in the Ring.
Uh-huh. What about Jamel Herring? Sev, are you there, sir?
I'm here. Hello?
Okay, you're breaking up. Yeah, okay, now I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
As you were, repeat, please.
Yes, Jamel Herring said that he heard that Top Rank might be in talks with HBO Max.
Yeah, they're a Time Warner owned company, and
Right.
Ted Turner is part owner as well. And so, from what I heard, it was HBO Max, TBS, and TNT. So they might scatter everything across all three platforms, but once again, they don't have. Look, guys, I love Top Rank, and they've meant a lot to boxing in the American market. Let's be honest. They've become an institution in American boxing, but they just can't produce the way they used to. And it's because Bob Arum is retired pretty much. He's only the figurehead. And Todd DeBuff is running that company into the ground.
Right.
That's the problem. Brad Goodman can't do everything. He is the best matchmaker in boxing, and he can't do everything. That's the problem. Bruce Trampler is semi-retired also. He's the senior advisor now. Who do they have? Carl Moretti? He can't do that. He's very knowledgeable, and I like Carl, but he's not. He can't run the company like Bob Arum. He couldn't run the company like Bruce Trampler either. Honestly, this is a tough scenario, and it's a tough pill to swallow. But I think Top Rank is done. The Top Rank that we knew and loved is done. They're done being a player in boxing, period. And I'm sorry, Todd DeBuff just could not fill the shoes of his father-in-law. And the only reason why he's at this position is because of Bob Arum's daughter. If he weren't Bob's son-in-law, he wouldn't have anything to do with Top Rank.
You're talking about Todd DeBois?
Todd DeBuff, yes. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, good to see you, my friend. And thank you, Lance Meyer, for being on. And yes, JR has the beat. JR Bell from the Boxing Source. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to JR Bell. He says you're going to see a lot of their fighters be subcontracted to other fight cards. Out of necessity. You got no choice. That's why I told JR earlier during this discussion that we had that if Eddie Hearn were smart, he would make Xander Zayas an offer he couldn't refuse and pit Jerron Boots Ennis in his first fight at 154 pounds against one and done Xander Zayas.
And Joseph, do you think Errol Spence is going to be fighting Virgil Ortiz? I heard a rumor like that.
Huh?
You think Virgil Ortiz is going to end up fighting Errol Spence?
Oh my gosh, I hope not. Look, Errol Spence does not need that kind of torture.
No, I agree.
Get smoked like a cheap cigar. Hold on, Dominic. Wait a minute. Let's be real. Romero's a paper champ. No one's disputing that, dude. No one's disputing that. In fact, I cannot believe he is now classified as a 2-division world champion. He was handed a belt at lightweight, the interim. He was handed a belt at 140, junior welterweight, with that terrible decision Tony Weeks made. And now he beat a one-handed bandit in Ryan Garcia, and now he's a 2-division world champion. What is going on? We have Mario Barrios, probably the worst title holder in all of boxing, and not far behind is Rolly Romero, and they're both competing at 47. I thought this was supposed to be the next glamour division in boxing. What's going on? You know what, Dominic? I say goodnight, brother. I'm gonna ban you. You're an idiot. Goodness gracious, man. I can't stand people, and especially after I warn them. I'm not gonna be cool with any negativity. Not in this chat, not any longer. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. And if you're just on here to be a troll, then go to a different channel. Sorry. But yeah. Oh, wait a minute. They have a card on August 15th and September 5th. This is Top Rank? What network? Where's it going to be held? Is it going to be just a club show? Is it going to be on YouTube? What's going on? Honestly, if I were them, I would join forces with ProBox and PBC. That's what I would do. I told you that a long time ago.
Well, ProBox hasn't been having shows as often as they used to. What's going on with that?
Because they're reconfiguring everything with PBC. You're gonna hear announcements very, very soon. It should have already been announced, but apparently they're still working things out. You're gonna see them announce a merger with PBC.
And what platform are they going to use? The ProBox YouTube channel?
I have no idea. For a lot of their stuff, yes. Let's just be either that, or you're going to see ProBox migrate to Amazon Prime, and you're going to see a lot of free cards on Amazon Prime, regular subscriber Amazon Prime. That's what I think. You're still going to see it on YouTube, but it's going to be available on Amazon Prime as well. That's what I think. Because alone, ProBox. Okay. Yeah, so alone, yeah, ProBox is just they're not getting enough eyeballs, they're not getting enough traction. And then PBC by themselves, yeah, they're just not furnishing enough dates for Amazon Prime. They're not furnishing enough talent. And they're not having enough events to appease the brass at Amazon. That's the problem.
Why is that?
They don't. They look. PBC did a great job when they first were formed, but they did a piss poor job of cultivating talent. And how many stars were they able to produce legitimately without the help of Golden Boy Promotions or anyone else? Because let's be honest, Al Heyman, all of his signed talent, they were benefits and beneficiaries of the matchmakers and TV dates of Golden Boy Promotions under Richard Schaefer. That's the reality. And how many stars did they cultivate on their own?
Gervonta Davis, that's the only one.
And that was Floyd Mayweather Promotions, dude.
Yep.
And so that's why they are lacking at this time. And once again, you can't fault the matchmakers, because they had two of the best matchmakers in boxing in Tom Brown and Eric Katz, one Hall of Famer and one soon to be Hall of Famer. But it's obviously Al Heyman had too much say, and he's not a boxing guy. Hey guys, it's my pleasure to introduce at this time. And if you haven't already subscribed to his channel, please do so at this time. The Boxing Scholar. Good to see you, my friend.
What's good, Joe?
Hey, what's up, man?
What would you like to talk about, my brother? The floor is yours.
I kind of came in late, so I didn't know what y'all was cooking on, but I'm guessing it's Gervonta Tank Davis retirement, maybe Bud's body test.
No, we were talking about the I'm sorry, Bud's Veda test.
So
What?
I don't know how much trust y'all got into ChatGTP, but Victor Conte released Bud's Vada test, and then I screenshotted it and sent it through, and I was like, "Is it legit?" And it said no, that the dates are doctored, and it's clearly a false doctrine. That's what ChatGTP said.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. But let me ask you pretty rhetorical question, the Boxing Scholar. Are you surprised?
No.
Dude,
You know what
look,
surprised me, Joe?
I actually like talking to Victor. He's a He's a cool guy, and we always talk about music because he's a bass player. He used to be a bass player for Tower of Power. That's his first passion, his first love. But I will say this. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him.
Yeah, like ain't got nothing to do with the truth, especially if you got an obligation of boxing and you got fans, And
Yeah.
the reality of it is, I don't think he's a horrible person, like a monster that's probably been worse in life. But as far as boxing, I don't see how anybody would ever even wear the snack logo on their like beanie, even if they wasn't taking the supplements. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, look, once again, Emmanuel Stewart always told me this. And this is right after the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight with Andy Lee in El Paso. And he was livid. He said, man, I know he's on that shit. And he said, pardon my French, guys. And he goes, I know he's on that shit, Joseph. And you know what? That whole gym at Wildcard is on that shit. And there needs to be an investigation. And I said, Emmanuel, there's not going to be because no one cares. Everyone is on that shit. I said, everyone. And no one cares. And so if you're wondering how Bud, from moving up to 35, not a lot of knockouts, moving up from 40, not a lot of knockouts, and then moving up to 47 and starching everyone. Guys, look, and Manuel told me this. He said, look, if you really want to get rid of the PEDs in the fight game, then get rid of the conditioning coaches. Ostracize them because they are the drug pushers of boxing. And I don't think he was wrong. Your thoughts, brother?
100% correct. 100% correct. They don't even know the sport of boxing to teach it. It's like I seen an interview where Manny was talking about where he said you got to use it delicately. He was like, when it gets to a point where they say, well, I can't do my sparring because I gotta jump over a chair at 6 o'clock.
Emmanuel hated that dude. He hated. He was like, man, they don't need. I mean, it's not doing anything for him. They're fighting 12 rounds, and look, they're not breaking any records. My fighters back in the 15-round era, same day weigh-ins, threw a lot more punches than these guys. So what are they actually doing for him? They're just trying to get out of hard sparring. But you know what? Nothing prepares you for battle quite like hard sparring. That's the only thing that's going to prepare you mentally and physically. And he is right. And look at the mentality of these fighters today. They're spending too much time doing conditioning. The conditioning, right? And not enough hours and rounds in the gym. And what's the result? These guys look like they're afraid to get hit.
Yeah, that's insane.
I'm not wrong in stating that.
That's insane. The science has got better, but the rounds have got shorter, and they look like they finna fall over and die after the shorter rounds with the science being better. And another thing people don't talk about, that PDs definitely help. Like, it's in the title, right? Enhancement, but it also gives you a false sense that you could do more than you're capable of. So I think it does the opposite sometimes. I've seen people on the juice. I want to say Fernando Vargas, when he fought De La Hoya, was on steroids. I think he might have had a positive test. And you see how he was acting before then, showing off his body and doing all this stuff. And it's like none of that helped. It gave him a false sense of, oh, I'm never going to get tired. I could take the punches. And went in there.
To be fair, Fernando Vargas was never that good when you compare him to the elite of his weight class. He lost every single.
Come on, dude. Look, though. That's not fair, man. That's not fair because look at all the badasses who are in the Hall of Fame.
But that's the thing. I don't.
At that time, that's not fair.
What's not
fair? Fernando Vargas was good.
No, he's good. He's good. He's good, but he's not. He lost all his biggest fights, though. I never said he's bad, but I disagree with him being in the Hall of Fame because he lost to De La Hoya. He lost to Shane Mosley twice by knockout.
Wait, whoa! Wait a minute.
He lost all his big fights.
There's no shame in. So look,
I never said there is no shame. There is no shame.
No. Listen, Sev. Now, Sean Porter is a guy who lost all of his big fights as well because he wasn't an elite level fighter.
He beat, that's not true. He beat guys like Danny Garcia. That was one of his big fights.
Oh, wow.
But Fernando Vargas lost every
Danny
single
Garcia.
one of them.
Brother, Danny Garcia, if he were around with De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad, would have
No, I'm
gotten
not. I'm
smoked
not.
like a cheap cigar.
I'm just saying. I'm
No, no,
just
no.
saying.
No. I know what you're saying. I'm saying that, look, that's not fair. But because I promise you this, you put Danny Garcia in that same
I never
category, and
did. I
Fernando
never
Vargas.
did. I never
No,
did.
no, I'm doing that because it's not a fair analogy. I'm
No,
saying that
no,
Sean
no. I'm
Porter
just
was
saying. I'm just saying. Sean Porter won some of his biggest fights. That was
no,
one
he
of them.
didn't.
But
That's
that
the
was one of his
only one.
biggest fights.
No,
Okay,
that's the only one.
but that's better than. That's better than. I mean, the only
No,
big
it's
fight.
not, because look at the once again. No, it's not, because look at the level of competition, Sev.
No, you're right. You're right. I agree. Danny Garcia is not all that. I mean, he's a fine fighter, but you're right. I'm not going to compare him to De La Hoya. And look, again, Fernando Vargas is not a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. He's way
Oh
above
my gosh,
average.
dude, I don't want to
What,
hear this, dude.
Sev,
Dude,
check this out. Check this out, Sev. You know, a lot of people make that same argument for De La Hoya, who probably has the best resume, possibly ever, because that he didn't win the big fights. So,
But
bro,
that's
all
not
I
true.
do,
People that say that don't know boxing because De La Hoya beat guys like Chavez twice. That was a big fight right there. That's one example. He beat guys like
hey
Ricardo.
man, whoa. Did you forget about Winky Wright, one of the greatest junior middleweights of all time?
Yeah, but I thought that Winky Wright won
That
that
didn't
fight.
count.
Winky Wright won that fight. They robbed him.
Oh my gosh, dude, stop it! Now you're talking about robberies. Okay,
bro. But
Sev,
a lot of
hey,
people
Sev,
felt like Sweet Pea really beat De La Hoya. You can't go off opinion. History is what it is, bro. We can't
come
go off.
on, dude. Yeah, that's like Sev. Did Fernando Vargas sleep with your wife or something? Why the strange opinion about this? It's like, this is odd. I've never heard someone say this about Fernando. He came in one of the toughest eras in that weight division, right? With some all-time greats, guys who are first ballot Hall of Famers, and he went life or death with them. Look at those fights again. Look at the one with Felix Trinidad. That was an all-time great. That was an instant classic. Look at the De La Hoya fight. It was very competitive until it wasn't. And you're talking about Winky getting robbed? Dude, stop it. Like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, that we're even talking about this. Fernando Vargas, there's no shit. He was an excellent fighter. And he just came in a very, very difficult era. Any final thoughts on that, Sev? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Have a good night, my friend, and thank you for being on here, brother. Guys, be sure to subscribe to Combat Sports Media. God bless you, my friend. And there it is. Yeah, that was weird. Have you ever heard anyone have that take?
Nah, I can't say I have. Fernando's so respected. His kids are superstars already. At the infancy of their careers. I never heard that before. He might have not. He probably from a different era. I remember I was during the Fernando Vargas era, and I remember like watching the fights. You'll never find him in a boring fight. He gonna talk a ton of shit. I liked Fernando Vargas. I don't know what his deal is.
Oh, hold on. Seb is back, guys. Hey, Seb.
Hey,
Good
what's up,
to
man?
have you back. I couldn't hear you, man.
Oh, it's all good. This is the picture I was trying to paint, and you guys brought up great points. I agree with all of you guys. I think Fernando Vargas was a good fighter. I just don't think he's Hall of Fame worthy because of this. You know, a fine fighter by the name of Victor Chinian. I'm sure you remember him, right?
Oh, I love Victor Chinian,
Yeah,
man.
no one Nito knocked out, right? Like it was like the knockout of you.
Exactly.
Yep.
He's my personal favorite fighter. So I may be a little biased, but I don't think I am. So check this out. Fernando Vargas is in the Hall of Fame. Now, okay, cool. I kind of disagree with him being there because of what I just said, but okay, cool. He's in there. Now, if you're gonna put him in there, then why aren't you gonna put Victor Chinian in there? And I haven't heard a single person since Vic has retired advocate for him being in the Hall of Fame, despite the fact that he won a lot of his big fights and is a former 3-division world champion, 2 of them unified. And so I would just like to, that's the picture I was trying to paint. There's a bias. And I don't know exactly what the reasons are why fighters are in the Hall of Fame and why some get left out. Because, like you
Well,
said, Fernando Vargas is a good fighter. But if you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, then you got to put a guy like Victor Chinnin in the Hall of Fame as well.
here's probably why. Once again, it's not the International Boxing Hall of Accomplishments. It's the International Boxing Hall of Fame. That's why Sylvester Stallone is in it.
That's a good point.
Does that make sense? That's the only thing I can think of, because Victor Chinian's accomplishments in his impressive tenure, including that second fight with Nonito, was a barn burner, man, and much tougher than everyone thought it was going to be.
Very suspenseful.
Yeah, and I was covering that fight for for East Side Boxing.
Oh, that's awesome.
And oh, wait a minute. Who else is here? Hold on. I think it's someone else waiting in the queue. Hold on. Let me see. No. And look at Boom Boom Mancini. He didn't accomplish much, but he was famous for Wide World of Sports.
Right.
And because we're talking about a much healthier era. So Boom Boom Mancini's in. Arturo Gatti is in. And Victor Chinian accomplished a lot more. Let me ask you something. That makes a lot of sense. I was wondering, because are you of Armenian descent as well?
Yes, I am. I am actually.
I could tell. I knew it.
See, that's why. It's not because Fernando Vargas slept with my wife. I don't even have a wife. It just, that's the picture I was trying to paint. Is he's a fine fighter, but if you're going to put him in there, then why aren't you going to put in a guy like Victor Chinian? But the explanation that you gave me makes sense. Because it's the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of Accomplishment.
And that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because I have a real problem with them snubbing certain people and them grandstanding certain people. Because look, and I'll be honest, I'm going to be banging the drum all year. Why isn't my brother Ronnie Shields, after his impressive tenure as one of the elite trainers in boxing, still not in the Hall?
Exactly. I assumed he was already there, as a matter of fact. So that's another great
He's in
example.
every other Hall of Fame. California, Nevada, Golden Gloves, every Atlantic City. He's in every other Hall of Fame except for the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota. Why? Why is Al Bernstein in the Hall of Fame and not Ronnie Shields? Brandon, can you make sense of that?
I mean, it's a popularity contest, like you were saying earlier. That's why Sylvester Stallone is in there. That's a lot. A lot of times, I don't even consider the Hall of Fame as crazy as that sounds. So I get your argument now that you said that, Seth. But I personally think, like, because we were having the same debate with Roy Jones versus Floyd Mayweather, right? And they wanted to have, because Floyd always puts a narrative that's not a real statistic, by the way. I beat the most champions. He didn't beat them while they were current world champions. You know what I mean? So he'll play on that. So people won't go do the research,
that's just
right?
a way to convince casuals. I understand.
Yes. So when we was having an argument, I didn't even argue Hall of Fame because I knew that they would use, Miguel Cotto, not the place when he fought him. So what I did, I said, let's go greatest of all time. Let's not do Hall of Fame, because there are some people in the Hall of Fame who are questionable, and then there's people who didn't make it who damn well deserve to be there. I didn't want to use that as a criteria. So I said, okay, let's go all-time great fighter, a fighter that would be good in any era on Floyd's resume. And then that's when the conversation got kind of short, and they just started reaching for stuff. Cotto, nope, we're not throwing Cotto in. Bernard Hopkins, you could throw in any era. James Toney, you could throw in any era. The body snatcher, you could throw in any era. And then I was like, Manny Pacquiao to me is arguably the only all-time great that Floyd has on his resume, in my personal opinion. So the Hall of Fame, it just gets dicey because, like you said, it's like the the NFL has their Hall of Fame. And T.O. didn't make it all of those years. And it's like, come on, bro. It's not about character, obviously. A lot of these guys were on cocaine in the 80s and was doing questionable stuff to women in the 80s. So don't make it a character thing. It was just strictly a popularity.
And you just look at Cooperstown as well. I mean, Pete Rose, during his lifetime, never entered as all-time hit king. Oh, man. That was just terrible. That was just, so you're right, Brandon. Like, honestly, dude, it makes me sick. And honestly, I'd like to change the subject because, they need to get a new method of voting. because these
And who
guys,
the hell are these people anyway? What makes them qualified?
long time people in the business. And that's it.
These guys are ass kissers, and whoever's ass they kiss goes into the Hall of Fame. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, man. I'm gonna be banging the drum this year for my brother Ronnie, and hopefully it makes enough noise. So I'm gonna be putting out certain articles and trying to make some noise for Ronnie to be inducted this year. He deserves it.
Yeah, he definitely does. And Brandon, I have a question for you. You don't think Oscar De La Hoya is a guy that could be good in any era? That's the guy that Floyd beat.
Yeah, no. So the reason I brought up the Oscar argument earlier is because people make that same argument towards Oscar De La Hoya's resume. But I disagree. I say Oscar has one of the best resumes of all time. He didn't win a lot of those fights. He won some, but he didn't win. He has a lot of losses to a lot of greats and some
Yeah.
questionables. So when they bring that argument to me, I'm like, bro, Oscar's still great. You get what I'm trying to say? So I was just trying to get you to see my viewpoint. It's like the same thing, you know. I would never fault a fighter for losing big fights if their resume is really tough.
Guys, we're going to talk about something. We're gonna shift gears real quick because we are going to shut down in about 20 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to give you your
Joe,
choice.
I'm going to get going, but thank you very much for having me on. And Brandon, very nice meeting you, man. Thank you very much.
Hey guys, and don't forget to subscribe to my brother Seb's channel, Combat Sports Media.
Yep, thank
God
you.
bless you, man. It's good to see you again, my friend.
Likewise, God bless.
Don't be a stranger, brother.
I won't. Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad he came back to talk about this. I really am. Because I'm glad he was able to, and I can understand his frustration. If he's a big fan of his fellow Armenian, Vic Darchinian, I can understand that. Vic was fearless, man. And even when everyone counted him out, he was still making some noise. And he's everything that you like about boxing. He was fearless, brave, had a big punch, would fight anyone. Demot, good to see you, man. He says Arthur Abraham is Hall of Fame for me. Your thoughts on that? Because Arthur Abraham is a very forgotten longtime middleweight champion, largely because of the Super Six and his cheating, supposedly. What did he do wrong, really? He nailed one of the, who was he fighting? He was fighting Durrell, right? And he hit him when he had gone down to the canvas and knocked him out, and he couldn't continue and was disqualified.
I remember that fight where he lost his memory.
Yep. And dude, that's how hard that guy punched. He had a dubious victory over Edison Miranda, which was such a brutal but entertaining fight, which shaved years off his life. And he's knocked Jermaine Taylor into retirement. That's how hard this guy punched, but he was fearless. He fought everyone. And the problem I always had with Arthur Abraham is he wasn't a complete fighter. And I say that the kindest possible way. But he was under the mindset of you go and I'll go. He never looked to counter effectively. And if he were with a better trainer who taught him the fine art of counterpunching, he would have been downright scary. Because that guy, oh my goodness, man, that guy could crack. Do you remember how hard Arthur Abraham punched? In my opinion, that was a really exciting time to be in the middleweight division. B-Hop, Edison Miranda, Jermaine Taylor, Kelly Pavlik was just coming up. That was a really fun time to be a fan of the middleweights. A lot more enjoyable than it is now. Do you remember that time?
Absolutely. You know what? That just shows the health of boxing. When you get, because what happens with boxing, it always cycles, and one weight class will be perfect where you got everybody the right age, right, competitive nature, or whatever the case may be, and they'll fight and they'll give you great fights. I feel like right now it's 154 for us. Will those guys fight? Probably not.
Say that, but they
probably won't. If turkeys talk about everything but a tournament, get a tournament at 54 for that will make boxing the littest sport in America.
Yes, yes, dude. That is the best statement I've heard on this show today. That was outstanding. Very well said. And that's what we need. Because let's just be honest. Boxing Scholar, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Xander Zayas, is he going to be one and done as a world champion at 154 pounds?
I'll be honest with you. The last fight I didn't see. I wasn't even aware. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware. I was watching the Shields fight and nobody told me because normally the young ones like Gus and them, they keep me up to get date on the schedules because I'll be my mind be other places. But I missed that fight. I have to judge by that fight. That'll let me know. But they always say that the championship belt make you 30% better. Because the mental side. So I don't know. I'll see what's out there and I'll look at that fight and then I'll get back to you on that one. But
Well,
I
I'll tell
remember
you
that
what,
question.
if he elects to defend his title, and Eddie Hearn, if he's smart, makes Xander an offer he can't refuse, top rank an offer they can't refuse, then he's going to be one and done. And if I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm not wasting my time with a nothing fight that brings no money like Josh Kelly. I'm making Xander Zayas a quality offer because right now they have no choice. They've got no TV dates. You could put them front and center in one of the biggest matchups of the year. That's a Riyadh season fight. Eddie Hearn could make that happen. You could put that in Riyadh, and it would be one of the biggest fights of the year, one of the biggest matchups. And I'll tell you where you put it. You don't give either one of those guys home. And I'm putting on my promoter cap now. You don't put it in Philadelphia, or you don't put it in New York City. You put it in neutral ground, but still close enough where it'll attract both fans. You put that sucker in Atlantic City, and it's one of the biggest fights of the year.
How did he look, Joseph? Was he impressive?
If you like holding and lots of clinching, he was very impressive. He's got no power. Yeah, he's, you know what? Considering the awkwardness of his last opponent, Ramos, he looked good. His skill set looked good. He used his footwork as the foundation of his defense, used his jab to control range, but every time Ramos tried to get inside, I think that was his name, or was it Garcia? I don't remember. But is the guy who beat Charles Conwell, basically. And every time he got in short range, Xander Zayas did his best Devin Haney impression and wrapped him up like an octopus. And I can't stand that, and I turned it off after about 6 rounds because the referee kept on allowing him to do it. That's it. I'm sorry. Is Jorge Garcia is his name. Gangly looking dude. He looked like he reminded me of Carlos Mauza. You remember him at 140?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. And excuse me, and Boxing Source was there live. He said that was some fight to get through live. Yep. See, that's what I'm saying, man. I'll be
And
honest.
how old is Xander?
He's still young, man. He's like 23.
And see, I warn people about this with Shakur, man. If we just look at outside of boxing, we just look at normal people in their normal life, right? The older you get, the more conservative you get. Just the reality of life. You don't like people moving your stuff. You don't like people touching your things. If these fighters in their prime are fighting conservative, they're not going to get aggressive the older that they get. So I do not like that. Based on what you told me, his performance in that fight, I do not like that mindset.
Yeah, look, man, he's got no power. That never serves you well in a very stacked, difficult division like 54. And look, I'll say this. And they were trying to do this, and they created this title opportunity, title fight opportunity. And look, I tell this to all my fighters. Hey, be careful what you wish for. Because when you win a title, now you've got to defend it. Best of luck. Demut is hilarious. Mausa was garbage. KO of Vivian Harris was his only blip. And Vivian Harris was whooping his ass. That was my brother Emmanuel Stewart's fighter. And Mausa he ran out of gas, and Mausa just took advantage of him running out of gas. But you remember Carlos Mausa got knocked out by vicious Vivian Ortiz in the first round? That was on the undercard of Miguel Cotto versus Manny Pacquiao. I remember I was there. Oh, yeah, they stripped Fundora. That's right. It's a WBO, right? Yep. Look, guys.
That's another guy I'm not that impressed by, Fundora.
I actually I really like Sebastian Fundora as a gentleman. He is one of the nicest, smartest guys in boxing, and he is not one of those entitled bitches that I complain about all the time. He is a super great guy. One of the best guys you'll meet in this business. His whole family is just nothing but class. But with that said, well, look, what's not to like about Seabass Fundora? Because he's all action. He's all action. I don't care if he loses. I don't care if he, isn't the greatest technical fighter in the division. He's always fun to watch, which is more than I can say for a lot of guys currently getting big opportunities at this time. And look, I'll be honest. All of Sebastian Fundora's fights are going to be much more entertaining than the main event that we see on September 13th. We're going to end this show with this discussion because we brought it up before Brandon came on the show. I want to get your thoughts about September 13th. And I think we talked about this last week, but I am so much more convinced now that this is going to suck eggs in terms of action.
I don't think so. I think every time I've seen Blood hurt in a fight, he always comes right back. And then one thing he said in the Spence fight, he said that, everybody was building Spence up to be this big monster and that he wanted to see if he could take a shot from him. And when he hit him, he was like, oh, that's it. I'm like, he's going to try to do that with Canelo. He's going to, and then as a smaller fighter, you have to make a statement to the bigger fighter that this ain't going to be easy. And you have to get their respect early in the fight. He's going to have to make a stand. And I think it's going to be early. And I don't see how that fight is anything less than a back and forth. Now, I feel like both guys are slipping. So you got that factor. You got Bud going up in weight, so he's not going to be able to use his legs. So he's going to have to be more stationary. All those things spell a recipe for an exchange. I would be surprised if it's anything other than a good fight, in my personal opinion.
Well, look, oh man, I love your optimism, dude. I really do, man. And I hope you are right. I really hope you're right, man. Yes, Sandoval. He did it. He went over to Japan, earned his stripes, brother. Yes. And they tried to rob him too. Because there's no way in Hades that should have been a split decision, Demon. Congratulations to Sandoval, man, putting on a great career best performance in stripping the title from Tanaji, right? And that was earlier this week. I'm glad you brought it up, Demon. Thank you. But look, B, I'll be honest, man. I just, this is what I'm afraid of, and Boxing Source brings it up. But I agree with you. Bud has too much dog in him, too much pride. He's a winner, and he's a competitor. And you know what? I hope you're right. I hope you're right, my friend. Because you know what? You know what? Come to think, I mean, gosh, I don't know, but I know Terrence, man, and he is not above stinking out the joint just to try and get the victory. Let's be honest, if he doesn't get the knockout, his fights sometimes are downright uneventful, and I'm being nice. Like the Madrimov fight. I'm afraid it's going to look like the Madrimov fight.
Yeah, that fight did suck. But you have, counter punching and stuff is acquired taste. I wasn't, when I first got in the boxing, I did not like that. I was, give me a Tyson. You know what I mean? Give me a Roy Jones. Somebody that's going to knock you out. Like, you know, but as time went by, I started to appreciate the finer points of boxing. But I understand it's show business, and most fans don't like that type of style. So, you know, but I say this with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford talks so much crap about Mel quitting against Canelo. I feel like he has to make a statement. Like, I think his pride is and his competitive nature, because he compares himself to that, his competitive nature of that of a Michael Jordan. And I do see him competing in quarters, whatever it may be, you know. He's talked so much stuff about Mel. He has to not go in there and stink it up like Mel did. Because he was like, oh, I wouldn't do that if I was Mel. I definitely ain't doing that.
Oh
And
man,
so he has to fight.
I hope you are right, man. And you know what? That's the most. You know, I'm going to end it on a high note like this, because that gives me a lot of hope, man. I love your argument, dude, and I love your rationale, and I love your train of thought. This has me optimistic about this fight. Thank you for voicing your opinion. That's beautiful, man. And Boxing Source is right, and it once again proving your point. Yeah, he competed in playing video games too. Yeah, this guy just wants to win. He's a winner, and he lives the Spartan lifestyle, just like Alexander Usyk, Bernard Hopkins. They're cut from the same cloth. They don't play. And let's hope he brings it and tries to prove all of his naysayers wrong on September 13th. Because I will say this, Eric Gomez has the beat. The only way it's a bad fight is if Bud stinks it up. So if Bud actually tries to win this fight and tries to prove that he's the tougher man in the ring and the better man in the ring, then we'll all be very, very pleasantly surprised. But here's the problem. He doesn't like losing. He will do whatever it takes just to win. And if he figures out that he can pick and poke his way to a victory while using lateral movement, he will do it, even if he stinks out the joints.
You know
That's
another thing he said, Joe, in a
huh?
post fight, he said, excuse me, in a pre fight,
Yep.
um, he said, man, people keep telling me I gotta go in there, and knock out Canelo because he favorable with the judges. I'm like, he letting us know that he's aware of what we aware of. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Yep.
So I'm like, outpoint. The only way I can see him going in there and trying to outpoint Canelo is for a moral victory. To say, hey, I really beat Canelo, but they robbed me. And even then, what Canelo's gonna do, what Canelo has showed me is this. He don't like giving up that number one spot, Joe.
No.
Meaning, like, I always say he learned a lot from Mayweather, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring. You
He
remember,
did.
he even talked like Mayweather. I seen Mayweather had a book of Manny Pacquiao, and he opened up and he was like, oh, you know, that motherfucker, he just wanted a payday. And then a little bit after that, Canelo, payday, payday. He won't pay it. I was like,
Yep.
wait a minute. So I'm like,
That's it.
oh, he learned it from him with the business. And you remember, Floyd always make two distinct differences. Oh, you got Pretty Boy Floyd, then you got Money Mayweather. So he that's what he does. This would be Money Canelo. And what I know about Money Canelo is Canelo understands perception is reality to boxing fans. So what he gonna do is when he brought Mel up, they sold that fight as undisputed versus undisputed, which was hilarious, right? Undisputed versus undisputed. Then they stripped him, told him they would strip him when he set foot inside the ring. That is hilarious, right?
Oh
Marketed,
goodness.
took the sanctioning fees and everything, then
Yep.
stripped him the moment he set foot. That is wild to me. But when they pulled him up, Canelo did not sit down in between rounds because he wanted to show everybody. And then after the fight, he said that version of Canelo nobody beats. When really, in actuality, he was bringing a guy up that was smaller, that was looking for a payday, never tried to win the fight. See, this is what we know from watching the casual don't understand this. They just see Canelo looking dominant and say, "Oh man, Canelo's back." I don't know what he was going through. Like he was slipping, but he's back. And I think he's going to use this Bud fight to sell that narrative too as well. That I'm back because people ain't going to continue to watch Canelo fights go. I don't care how popular he is. Nobody's going to watch that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was obvious, and that's why they put it in Riyadh, because it was an unsellable fight. Terrible. Terrible. Hey, Therese, good to see you, man. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the show, sir. What is on your mind? We're about to sign off, but the floor is yours, man, for as long as you want it.
Oh, what's going on, man? I ain't seen you on Twitter in a while. I thought about you the other day. I said, man, I ain't seen the brother on Twitter in a while. I said, and I found
Well,
you.
it's because, and thank you for noticing, man. And it's because I've been working on my new channel, God's Perfect Love. We just surpassed 4,000 subscribers, and it's about our journey with Jesus Christ, our Lord and
Oh,
Savior.
okay.
That's
Well,
why. Mm.
I'm a non-believer, so I kind of stay out those conversations. But on to the boxing game. Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
If that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm on the other side of that on the equation. But man, this fight, man, is. I want to see what Crawford weighs in at before I give an opinion. To me, I think he ought to come in at about shit. Just come in right over the middleweight limit. 160,
Okay, so I'm going to
161.
ask you this question: is he on that good or not?
Well, to me, I think all the fighters at the elite level are on it. Whether they're using it
Bingo.
for whether they're using it for strength, recovery, weight loss, or
Yep.
stamina. I think they
Yep.
all are on it.
They are.
Just like the baseball players, the players that come over here from the Dominican or South
Yep.
America. Hey, the risk is worth the reward. If I can use these PEDs and I can make generational wealth, I'm gonna do it. It is what it is. You
Yep. I
know.
mean, look, you're already agreeing to get in the ring to make ends meet, taking punches upside the head. You mean to tell me you're not going to risk a little more doing PEDs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
these
that, that
fighters, they'll do whatever it takes to make generational wealth and life-changing money. Yep.
right, right. I mean, every man max life. We got 70, 80 years here. So Crawford's high 30s. He may have another 30, 40 years quality of life. If you're gonna do peds, do them. It is what it is. Nobody's gonna care. Canelo's already a convicted ped cheat. So if you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, you know, you may as well do it. For the biggest bag available. Nobody's gonna care in 5 to 10 years. Nobody's gonna care.
Okay, man. So here's another question, brother. Um, is this fight going to stink out the joint on September 13th, or is it going to sizzle?
I think as long as it lasts, I think Canelo wins the fight. Man, best case scenario when the fight first started, I said Crawford can maybe he can do what Duran did versus Hagler. Maybe run him close on the cards. Have a competitive fight. I don't think it's going to be like a Ray Leonard versus Lalonde knockout. Something like that. A knockout where
I
he's
would
just.
love to see a Ray Leonard, Donnie Lalonde knockout, man. Oh, man.
I just,
I
I,
would
I just,
love to see that.
I just don't think it's going to be that. If it's that, oh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be like,
because
oh,
Canelo is a lot more defensively responsible than Donnie Lalonde. Yeah.
well, he tucks his chin. His punch resistance is a lot better, but he does have a lot of wear and tear. So maybe Crawford couldn't shock everybody and pull it off. But my best case is a Duran Ray Leonard. I mean a Duran Hagler type fight. If he pulls it off, he pulls it off. But he's gonna have to win at least 8-4 on the card just to get a 7-5 decision.
I think you guys are well, you know what, man? Honestly, dude, I just hope there's leather thrown. I just hope there's hard leather being thrown. That's it. Honestly, I don't care who wins. I really don't. I just hope that it's a good product and entertaining for the diehard, or not the diehard, but the casual and mainstream fans that are going to be tuning in on Netflix. And I just hope it's exciting and entertaining.
Well,
You know what? My biggest fear though is it's going to be a real stinker.
I think this is Crawford's last fight.
I agree.
I think for the fighter that he's been, and I think he understands the risk that he's taking. He's probably gonna go out on the shield if he's got to. I think this is the fight. If he's got to go out on the shield, he understands it ain't. It's not a negative for him to go out on his shield on this fight. It won't take away from what he's given us for the first 40 fights of his career.
I
So
disagree.
Terrence doesn't roll like that. But look, Therese, you're a good, fair fan with you've got that half glass full mentality. Brandon, are most fans like Brother Therese?
Absolutely not. They will make a meme of Bud if he got knocked out. You got to
Yeah.
remember, this is a guy that never even took a loss, you know, on a decision. If he gets stretched by Canelo, man. They still talk about him collecting Spence's eye. Like, yeah, the fans are not forgiving, so no, they won't forgive him.
Yeah,
Yeah, Therese is one of the good fans. So,
yeah. I mean, the fans are not forgiving, but you know, as soon as somebody else come along and they get knocked out, they'll forget Crawford getting knocked out. So, eh,
well,
you know, it is what it is. But
look,
I think Bud is gonna give us a good fight, man. I
I
think
hope
he'll.
so, brother, because he sure didn't on the big stage in LA.
Nah, the Madrimov fight was the Madrimov fought a different style. You know, he was Madrimov is totally the fight he fought versus Bud was totally different than what he usually fights. But hopefully
Boy,
with this
see,
Canelo fight,
this is now, Therese, here's a perfect example of fans. And Demon, thank you for being here, my friend. He says, Bud coming with his special gloves and Nella with his magic steak. They have a gentleman's agreement. See what I mean? Dude, they're still bringing up the gloves that were starting to fall apart in Omaha, Nebraska against Avanesian.
yeah.
See
So
that?
what happened with that? Didn't Everlast or whatever take credit for that?
Does he use Everlast?
I
Whatever,
don't
man.
I don't know what they
Whatever.
were, but
What,
that stuff happens, bro. Ernie Schaefer's popped the glove. I don't know why people so hung up on conspiracies, man. Like, if Bud went in there, bro, with 20-ounce pillows on his hand, he still beats Avanesian. I don't understand what the big. Why would he have to cheat for that fight?
Now, well, look, I like Demon's comment though. He's just he just wants to say that it's a level playing field in his mind, and you know what? It may be because let's
yeah,
just be honest. Terrence Crawford, he knows what he sees in the ring, and that's why
yeah,
he wanted this fight because he
yeah.
has seen Canelo Alvarez slipping.
Yeah, it's a level playing field. It's just not on the level we think it's on. Like what's his
Yeah.
name? Ben what's his name? What's the sprinter's name? Ben Johnson, like his trainer said. It's a
Oh, Ben Johnson.
yeah, like he said, like his trainer said, it's a level playing field, just not the level you think it's on. You know what I'm saying? So like I said a few minutes ago, I think all the top guys
Yep,
are using pads, whatever the
they are.
reason. So it is what it is, but hopefully Bud give it. I think Bud's going to put his all into this fight. This is his last fight. If he goes out on the shield, he goes out on the shield. You know, he already has a built-in excuse. He's moving up 2 weights. Why not just give it your all? Like you already a Hall of Famer. You are. This is your what? Pretty much your sixth division. You skipped the division in middleweight, so this would essentially be your sixth division you're fighting in. Go out on your shield if you got to.
You know what? I tell you what, I like the commentary of both of you guys, and we're gonna end it on very two positive notes, guys. Therese, you're the last one here. Please give us your parting shots. And man, I wish you had been here sooner because we are shutting down. It's already 1:40 on the East Coast. So your parting shots, brother, for our listening audience.
Well, it's 139 here. Um, I think Canelo wins the fight, but man, just maybe my biasness as a brother. I'm hoping that Bud pulls it off. You know, I think he's got the IQ, but you know the weight is always a factor. The punch resistance, the ability to take a punch from Canelo. Um, how how he's going to manage the distance and the range is very important because I don't think he wants to be at short range with Canelo, knowing how he throws hooks and uppercuts very viciously. So if he can keep the fight and maintain his stamina for 12 rounds for at mid to long range, he's got a chance. Um, if I had to bet money, it's on Canelo. But like I said, if Bud wins this fight, he's gonna have to win at least 8-4 just to get a 7-5, 9-3 probably just to get a 7-5 decision on the cards.
And there it is. I tell you what, thank you, man, for joining us, Therese. Good to see you, man. And join me tomorrow, man. Join us tomorrow. We're going to be calling the Golden Boy event from
Oh,
Chi-Town. I'm really looking forward to this main event, guys.
It
Oscar
was that
Duarte versus
Duarte
Dennis
versus
Sims Jr.
Sims, right? Duarte
Yep.
versus Sims, right? Yeah,
This
yeah.
is
I'll
a
be
great style matchup. Going to be a great card. I'm really looking forward to it. Also want to see the progression of Ronnie's promising heavyweight, Josh Edwards. A lot of people are talking about him seriously becoming the next great American heavyweight champion. So,
let me ask
guys,
you a
yes, sir.
quick question. What do you think
Yes, sir.
about the Usyk win and how he's rated all time versus his predecessors?
I think he is an all-time great at cruiserweight.
Right.
And I think he's in the conversation of being maybe a top 30, top 40 heavyweight. But if you're looking at top 10, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
Look. And we did this last week. Um, just put him up against all the opposition in the 70s and the 90s. Come
right.
on now. Look,
Well,
and this
let
is,
me say
you could say this. How does he fare against these two fighters? And this will be the judge, right? And it was a weak era, but how does he fare against Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko?
yeah, that's a good question. What my question was is, he has the athletic advantages over these guys. I just would have wanted to see him fight the guys like a Spanks or a Michael Moore or Holyfield, guys that were more his size. Even like a Ken Norton that
You know
was in
what?
the
You know what,
that
brother?
was in the Holyfield era.
You know what, man? I would have settled with how he fared at cruiserweight against a guy like David Haye.
Right.
David Haye in his prime, before
Even
his body started to fall apart from PEDs.
right, even the David Hay or just going up to heavyweight and fighting the guys who were a little more mobile and had a better jab like Lennox Lewis or even a guy like I be a Buche, that
Hey,
knocked
it's
Oh,
funny you said that. I was
knocked out a
thinking
guy like that
he
knocked out a
couldn't even
guy
beat
like
a
that
non-champion, in
knocked
my opinion.
yeah that knocked Chris Bird mouthpiece out in the
yeah.
fifth row.
Look, guys. Even David Tua in his prime, the guy who knocked John Ruiz into next week, the guy before he fought Ike Ibeabuchi, that guy knocks out Alexander Usyk with the liver shot, left hook to the liver, all done. Look, guys, yeah, just put him in the 90s and the 70s to put it in its proper perspective.
Right.
Okay, Riddick Bowe,
It's a
Lennox
hard
Lewis,
it's a
Mike
tough
Tyson,
out.
Evander Holyfield, Michael Moore. Come on, guys, what are we talking about?
That's what I said. Like even an Oliver McCall type, like the smaller heavyweights who could
Oh,
It-
maintain
the
the pace
Atomic
with
Yo,
him.
Gold.
Tyrese, can I tell you something?
What's up?
Everybody always rush to judgment. If you look at Usyk's resume, he probably got like 5 fights, 6 fights at heavyweight, and then a lot of those are rematches. And it's
Rematches
like,
and
bro,
rematches.
if
Yeah,
we
he
look
got
at if some people say Anthony Joshua will go to the Hall of Fame, but he probably shouldn't, he doesn't deserve to be there, then why are we making Usyk an all-time great for beating that guy? It just like it doesn't make any sense. They did the same thing with Tyson Fury. Tyson
Yep.
Fury could beat Muhammad Ali. Why? Oh, because he's 6'9" and we never seen it. How ironic, right? With a guy who's probably Muhammad Ali's size and height would go on to beat him twice, not once but twice. But they just rushed the judgment. Like Lennox Lewis would have knocked, and I don't even like Lennox Lewis. This is just non-biased. He would have knocked Usyk out easy.
Yep.
right. Yeah, Usyk only
Like I
has
said,
5 fights, but
dude,
3 of them are rematches.
Vitaly Klitschko, dude, he starches Alexander Usyk.
Larry
Vladimir
Holmes.
Klitschko, he wins the fight with one arm alone.
Yeah, Larry Holmes would it be a tough
Larry
out for him.
Holmes, even Tim Witherspoon. Come on now. Let's be honest, guys. Who's the guy who had a really intriguing fight with Tyson and then just got his ass whooped against Lennox Lewis? What was his name?
Damn, I can't think of his
You
Razor
know what I'm
name.
Ruddock.
talking? Huh? Who
You
is that,
talking about
Brandon?
Razor Ruddock? Razor Ruddock.
Razor Ruddock. Yes.
Yeah.
Razor Ruddock would have, dude. Okay, hold on. How does Ray Mercer fare? A
Right.
prime Ray Mercer, how does he fare against Alexander Usyk? He
See,
could crack.
even a Tommy Morrison will probably
How
be
would Tommy
competitive.
Morrison fare? How would Shannon Briggs fare in his prime?
It's just hard for me to see a guy who moved up when he was already older and can't take body shots even last in the 90s. I'm just There's no disrespect to Usyk,
That's what
but
I'm saying.
before
That's
we start talking
exactly what I'm
about
saying.
greatest of all
Before we
time
start
and those type of
anointing these
lists,
guys.
Yeah, before we start talking about greatest of all time in those lists, we just got to take it for what it is. 90s had the greatest group of trainers probably in the history of boxing, right? And it had the most athletic fighters, right? Because they wouldn't go into other sports, right? And they knew how to effectively deliver body punches. And it's like Usyk can't take a body shot. Like we seen it in his amateur career and as his professional career, can't take a body shot. It's hard for me to see him doing anything with any of these guys. Like you said, Ike Beabuchi, I think he beats Usyk easy. And that's no
Yep.
disrespect to Usyk. It's just the times that he's in.
Yep. And
Yeah,
let's
like
be honest, guys. John Ruiz actually stands a chance of hugging his way to a victory.
yeah, like hey man, he came in at a good time. As a when he turned heavyweight, he was a lot older. Like with the Ali comparisons, like you're saying, he would have beat Ali, but like Ali probably had Parkinson's undiagnosed by the time Usyk got to heavyweight. Like
Oh,
Ali was a champion at what 22 or something.
yeah. Well, look, you're pissing off Hawker Mustang.
Usyk is the GOAT. That is insane. And what? A heavyweight?
Well, I don't know.
Shit.
It's all right. And what he means is that I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He means at cruiserweight, and look, I'll be honest. I still think David Hay and Evander Holyfield beat him at cruiserweight too.
Hey man, Burt Cooper might give him a good round.
And that's not being disrespectful either, brother.
Even
And let's just be honest, the gentleman who just passed away,
Dwight
would
Cowie.
give him hell
Yeah,
at
Dwight Cowie with
cruiserweight.
his pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like those are competitive fights. Like that we kind of forget about those guys. Michael Spanks. The Spanks James. We
Man,
forget
Michael
about those
Spinks
guys.
that's an all-time great at 175, guys.
Michael,
Michael
like I said, Michael Moore, like those smaller
He
heavyweights
said,
who had the condition to go those rounds, had the speed, the agility, the
Like,
output.
honestly, I don't even think Usyk at cruiserweight beats Vasily Zhirov or James Toney.
oh, yeah, that dude was good too. I forgot all about him. Yeah,
Tiger,
that was,
Oh, man, that was a good fight. Vasily
that
Jurov,
yes,
was a
that was a
classic,
good fight.
brother.
that was a great Vasily Jurov. He was on Lion Killer. He's changed his channel name to Modern Brutes, but he was on Lion Killer's channel about 2 years ago. I forget. It was a fight that night. He came on with Modern Brutes and because he's friends with what's the fighter name? Galaxy Warrior. What's his name?
Oh, the Galaxy Warrior. Man, he used
Uh
to come on my show all the time. What
Nate,
is it? Nate Campbell.
Nate
Yes,
Campbell,
Nate
yeah.
Campbell.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's friends with Nate. And Vasily came on and he was talking about he was just talking about, his journey and all that stuff. But I forgot, I think it was the night Josh Taylor fought Ramirez, but he came on that channel and he was talking about the night him and James Toney fought. And
Woo.
it was a good conversation.
Man, that was fight of the year. Easily earned, man. I'll tell
Yeah.
you what though. So thank you, Therese. Your parting shots lasted about 15 minutes, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey man,
it's
I'll be
been too
watching the
long.
fight.
Hey,
I'll be
join us
watching the fights
tomorrow, man,
tomorrow.
on the Golden Boy card. And Brandon, I'll give your parting shots as well. And thank you, Therese, for being here, my friend. It's been too long.
Parting shots. I'll say this. I do have invested interest. I'm always honest and upfront about my opinions, and it's to Bud Crawford. And this is why. I feel like in boxing, upsets help our sport more because they reach more casual fans that like, dang, why did I miss the fight? I should have watched it. And the fact that it's going to be on Netflix was the closest thing we can get to free TV. Like if Canelo knocks out Bud Crawford knocks out Canelo, that will mean a lot for the sport of boxing. So that's where my invested interest is. But the actuality is a lot different. I don't think with my feelings, right? I think that they are both agent fighters. Bud has just as much miles as Canelo because he works out 7 days, no breaks, right? And he's an older guy. You can't keep revving your engine like that, right? And I think that his body is breaking down as well. He's sparring with cruiserweights for this fight. And I was like, Bomac, you got trainer of the year. Why in the hell would you let bigger guys abuse your smaller guy before he gets in there and gets another bigger guy? That's stupid to me. But hey,
Yep.
he's trainer of the year. Maybe he knows what he's doing. You know, so I'm leaning more towards Canelo. I think he has more left. I think it's going to be an easier fight for him because everybody always make it like it's a height class. It's not a height class. It's a weight class. You know, Rocky Marciano, Mike Tyson, those were guys that were really short, but they were at the weight comfortably, right? So
Yep.
with that being said, I think this is going to be an exciting fight. I think Bud can't run. I don't think he has the legs as far as his youth it goes. And then the new weight, I don't think he can move around and be mobile for that long and still keep Canelo's respect. Canelo's going to walk him down, and there's going to be a fight that breaks out at some point. I just hope it's really, really good. I hope it's back and forth. So that's my final take on the fight.
Well, I tell you what, that's as good as any. And tell you what, thank you, gentlemen, because I feel a lot more optimistic going into this. I just hope like I said, I don't care who wins. I genuinely don't. I just want to see an entertaining fight with enough action to appease the mainstream and casual audience and hopefully make some new fans in the American market. That's what I
Hey,
hope
Joe,
for.
let me ask you something
Yes,
right
sir.
quick.
Go ahead.
Is
Go
Errol
ahead, man.
Spence coming back versus Virgil Ortiz?
No.
All right, cool. So he's staying retired then.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, for his health, yeah, he knows. He knows. He's done, man. He knows.
All right, cool.
But you know what? You never know with fighters though, because they'll listen to the wrong people trying to convince them that they've got one more left in them, one more great championship performance left in them. But let's hope he takes the advice of the smart people around him.
I'm gonna
The
drag this
ones
out a little bit. So do we get Xander versus Boots or Xander versus Virgil?
We get Xander versus Boots and Virgil. We get Boots versus Virgil sometime next year. Boots wants all the smoke, man.
I like
Xander Zayas, look, make no mistake about this. Xander Zayas is fearless because these fighters, ducking is a fan-driven concept that doesn't exist outside of the forums. Because these fighters, they wouldn't be stepping in the ring if they had fear, doubt, or trepidation in their heart. These guys are fearless, and I have the most respect for them.
Hey Joe, you might not agree, but I think Xander going to beat Boots. He's got the style to keep away and keep it long and the natural size. So if they fight, I think he beats Boots. Now Virgil might be a different thing with his come forward style, but
Well, look,
we
I'll
shall
say
see.
this. I'll say this. Boots Ennis, he's going to have a much tougher time tying up Boots Ennis than he did Jorge Garcia.
Okay.
That's what I'll say. But I tell you what, though, man, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Therese. Hope you can join us tomorrow. And guys, if you missed any part of the show, please rewind and listen to it as much as you want. Guys, God bless all of you. And don't forget to, if you haven't already, look for salvation. Surrender your life to Jesus Christ, the only source of eternal salvation. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.